and as students complete their programs, or maybe even just over the summer, it's a great thing to know how to do. It's another option if you don't choose to be employed or you don't readily find employment. It's great to know the ways that you can open your own business.
So today, our legal info session will be hosted by our lawyer, Bill Reid, who provides legal consultations to students free of charge. He's able to offer legal advice on everything from family law, immigration, criminal law, and real estate, and as we will discuss today, business law, such as how to start your own business. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Bill. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Amanda. And today we're talking about the possibility of starting one's own business. And as students complete their programs, or maybe even just over the summer, it's a great thing to know how to do. It's another option if you don't choose to be employed or you don't readily find employment. It's great to know the ways that you can open your own business. So there are various ways in which a business enterprise may be undertaken in Canada. An individual may do so individually, just as one person, as a sole proprietorship. Two or more people may form a partnership. One or more people may incorporate a for-profit business, or one or more may incorporate a not-for-profit corporation. And in that event, there do need to be at least 3 people involved, at least as directors of the not-for-profit corporation. And so again, if someone registers as a proprietorship or a partnership, they're not creating a separate legal entity. It is just themselves, one or more people, with a registered business name. By incorporating a corporation, you do create a separate legal entity, and a for-profit corporation has shareholders, and those shareholders make the profit. A not-for-profit corporation has members. The corporation may still make a profit, but it's not distributed to the members. It is plowed back into the corporation's activities. And we can move on for a bit of expansion on these themes. So absolutely, an individual who wants to operate a business is required to register. You're still required to register, theoretically, by the Ontario government. If you attempt to operate a business without being registered as at least a sole proprietorship or a partnership, there are certain things that you can't legally do. Banks would give you a hard time. The courts would give you a hard time if you try to go to them. So it is not difficult to register with the Ontario government as a sole proprietorship or a partnership. As I've said, by doing so, you don't create a separate legal entity, and you don't acquire protection against personal liability that you do by incorporating a corporation. And so if you're involved in a kind of business where you might have liability to suppliers or liability for damage caused by defective goods or services, it is wise to incorporate, because a corporation provides a fair amount of protection against that kind of liability. So a partnership, yes, 2 or more individuals, if they want to operate a business without incorporating, they're likewise required to register with the government. That becomes a partnership. Likewise, they don't create a separate legal entity. However, they have the option of creating a limited partnership. And in that option, only one partner has to have unlimited liability. So again, if you don't incorporate but register a partnership, at least one partner has to have unlimited liability, even if one or more then have limited liability, and that is what is called a limited partnership. There's still no separate entity, and somebody still has to be responsible. So to create the separate legal entity that provides protection from liability, it is necessary to incorporate a corporation. A business corporation may be incorporated by a single individual who would then be the sole shareholder, the only officer, director, and shareholder, or even if they're the sole shareholder, they may bring other people in as officers and directors. So again, a single individual is the only owner of business corporation. But a corporation is required to have officers and directors, and that one person who's the only shareholder may also be the only officer and or the only director, or they may bring other people in those capacities and still be the only shareholder, the only ultimate owner. So a business corporation may also be incorporated by 2 or more individuals. There's no limit on the number. In that case, you may have 2 or more shareholders. Big corporations, as you know, have many shareholders. So again, the individuals will be their shareholders. And again, they may be the officers and directors, or they may appoint other individuals into those roles. Again, big corporations, there are different people who are shareholders, different ones who are board of directors, others who are officers. But for most students getting involved in a business of their own, there wouldn't likely be many people involved, often just themselves, sometimes one or more, but a small number of others. And in those cases, again, the owners are the shareholders. They may also be officers and directors, or they may bring in other people. In any business corporation, the officers make day-to-day decisions and may also be paid for being officers. Directors provide more of a broad oversight and may also be paid for being directors. But shareholders are the ultimate owners of the corporation, and they're the ones who receive its ultimate profit or loss. If one or more individuals want to carry out activities for the good of others rather than their own profit, they may do so without incorporating. But again, it's very tricky. If anything of a very significant level, they would be wise to incorporate a corporation without share capital, also called a not-for-profit corporation. And again, such a corporation does not have shareholders, it has members. So the individuals who control a corporation without share capital are called members. And there may be as few as 1 member, but there need to be at least 3 directors on a board of directors. Sometimes it's not common that there's only 1 member, but it's conceivable. The student union is a not-for-profit corporation, and its members are the individual students who make up the student body. And that's a large number of people who change on a constant basis. But at least 1 member, usually more, at least 3 directors. But again, the point of a not-for-profit corporation is that neither the members nor any other individuals are entitled to directly receive the profits that the corporation makes. Those must be retained by the corporation and applied toward its objectives. So the main benefit of incorporating is that a corporation is a separate legal entity. So the individuals who own it are not generally liable for its debts. Another benefit is that the public often perceives a corporation to be more sophisticated, more permanent than an unincorporated enterprise of any kind. And a corporation may be incorporated either in a province or in a federal jurisdiction. If someone forms a sole proprietorship or a partnership, they may later incorporate a corporation and transfer the assets into the corporation. And there we are, yes. So that is the page at which one may book an appointment to meet with me about anything. And as Amanda said off the top, I do assist, and that was even only a partial list. Any legal matter, I'll do all that I can do. Presently, appointments are being conducted via email, and anyone only needs to fill out this form that's on the Student Union website, and it will reach me, and we can discuss anything we need to discuss.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bill. I'm just putting the link for the online form in the chat, so if anyone likes, you can visit that. And Bill, I think, responds faster than anyone I know, so he'll get in touch with you for sure. Thank you so much for explaining that, Bill. If we have any questions, we'll just let everyone take a second to pop that in the chat, or you could unmute yourself and ask as well, whichever works.
Sure, anyone is always welcome to email me. I guess ideally I'm beginning through the page we just showed. and we can discuss individual situations on any topic. As Amanda said, I try to answer pretty quickly.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Like I mentioned, the session was recorded, so will be posted on our website and on our SSU YouTube channel as well.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming,
Everyone take
everyone.
care.